Good morning. How are you today? I am videoing on Monday morning our geography. And so what place are we visiting right now? We are visiting the United States. And what continent is the United States on? North America. We found out Mexico is under the United States. It's Mexico, then the United States is kind of big, and then Canada is on top. So further north is Canada, further south is Mexico. All right, one of the things we learned about the United States was about the flag. Do you remember how many white stripes it has? You can look in your book if you need to. It has 6 white stripes. What does the white stand for? Purity. It has how many reds? 7 reds. What does the red stand for? Courage. And what else does it have? 50 stars. Each star represents how many states? 1 state, 1 star. So for every state we have a star on the flag. So how many states are in the United States? 50 states. All right, and what does the blue stand for behind the stars? It stands for truth. So we need to pray that our country will be true, brave, and pure. All right, so the United States has some famous landmarks and some famous places that we're trying to learn about. One of them was this. What was this one called? That's the White House. That's where the president lives and works every day, every night. All right, and what is this one? That is the Jefferson Monument. That was built in honor of our president named Thomas Jefferson. And it was built to remember the things he did. And the thing he is famous for is for writing the Bill of Rights, which gave every American the rights to worship God, the right to defend yourself, the right to speak what you believe. So he was a very important person in the United States. Well, today we're going to visit 2 other landmarks. One of them is in our book and one is not. So I'm going to put on share screen. And I'm going to shrink Miss Amy down. And I am going to go to our screen. The first place we're going to visit is the Grand Canyon. Now this is on our Google Maps, and you can type this in and look it up yourself. You just type in Google Maps up at the top and it'll come up, and over here in this sidebar, do you see where my mouse is? You type in Grand Canyon National Park. So this is a satellite image. This is the map image of it. This is the satellite. That's taken from a satellite up above the earth. It took pictures. So it is this deep ravine right here. It's called the Grand Canyon. Do you know what a canyon is? A canyon is a deep, deep, deep trench in the earth. It's also called a gorge. Let's look at, I tell you what, let's go to the video first. And we're just going to watch part of this video.
You know, nature can create some pretty amazing stuff. We've got waterfalls and mountains and beaches and canyons. A canyon is a deep gorge or gully in the earth. It usually has steep walls, and most of the time there's a river flowing at the bottom of it. And one of the biggest canyons in the world is in the southwestern United States, the Grand Canyon in Arizona. How grand is the Grand Canyon? Well, say you took the tallest building in the world and stacked it on top of itself twice. The Grand Canyon is deeper than that. And it's also more than 450 kilometers long. That's so long that it would take you about 4 days to walk its length from end to end. So how did this giant groove in...
All right, so how long did she say it was? She said it would take you how many days to walk it? Were you listening? And she said it was tall, it was deeper than if you stack the 2 tallest buildings in the world, one on top of the other, 2 of them. It is deeper than that. So let's look at some pictures of it. It's really hard to tell how deep it is from these pictures, but there's the river that flows through it. That's the Colorado River. This is the, I guess maybe the entrance. They had a fort maybe built here. You could see they could stand up in that tower and see if anybody was coming. These people are standing on the edge and looking down, so we can't see the bottom of it right there. Let's go on and let's look at some other pictures. This is the Colorado River. You can raft this river. I think she said it would take 4 days. It takes a long time, and it's pretty rough too. Here's one of part of the river that just looks like dirt. And then you can see this beautiful picture. But I want to get to a picture where you can see there are some people standing on top of the mountain. And you can see how small they are. See if I can find it. Getting close. Here we go. Do you see these people, how short they are? Look how big these mountains are in comparison to these people. So if we could actually be there, you would see how big it is. It's hard to tell from a picture. It's hard to feel it. When you're there, you kind of like, whew, this is amazing. This is majestic. This is big and huge. And this is one of the 7 wonders, I believe it said, of the world. So it's pretty amazing. There you go. There's a deep crack. Now, she was going to go into telling you how it was made, but they do not have proof for what they were going to say. But we believe as Christians it was made in the flood, when the waters covered the whole earth, and then when they receded quickly, it washed it out and left a big, huge gorge, or a deep, deep valley. Another place we're going to visit today is actually in our book, and I'm going to type it in here. And it is Mount Rushmore. So it's coming up. Just give it a minute to load. Whoops, it didn't load. Let me try it again. See if you can find Mount Rushmore in your book. There we go. Do you know where Mount Rushmore is? It's in South Dakota. And here is the satellite view. It's right on that mountain, right where that green dot is. Look, see when I hold over it, it shows me a picture of it. So let's look at these pictures. All right, this is a picture of Mount Rushmore. It is man-made in a mountain. They actually use sticks of dynamite and smaller tools to carve the faces. And these are 4 American presidents. And they made this so that more people would come and visit South Dakota. And the neat thing I found out about it is it has a cave behind it with important records. And it has a porcelain, which is kind of like a china plate, very fragile, a porcelain copy of the Declaration of Independence. The Declaration of Independence is a document that our leaders signed when we broke away from England, because we originally came from England on a boat. And then they decided they needed to be their own country, and so they declared independence. And this was our first president. His name is George Washington. And now the research I did said each one of these heads is as tall as a 6-story building. That is very tall. It said the noses were 20 feet long. It said the eyes were 11 feet wide. It said the mouth was 18 feet wide. So that's like 3 daddies lined up. That's huge. And the next person we see is Thomas Jefferson, and we've talked a little bit about him. He wrote the Bill of Rights for Americans. Then we have Theodore Roosevelt. He was a president of the United States. And we have Abraham Lincoln. Do you know what Abraham Lincoln is famous for? Abraham Lincoln is the president who was he was our president during the Civil War. The Civil War is the only war America has had where we fought with ourselves. And so the North fought against the South, and it was a war over a lot of things. But one thing was, it was a war over slavery, and Abraham Lincoln wanted the slaves to be free. And that was a very good thing. Here's another picture of Mount Rushmore. It's a little further back. Well, I don't know what my computer is doing. Oh dear. Aw, it's not going to work. Let me see if I can go back. Aw, my computer is locked up. Here are some more pictures I wanted to show you of this. There we go. Oh. Let's try again. That's a close-up picture of where it is. Oh my goodness. Here we go. It said it took 400 people to make this. And the man who wanted to build it hired an artist to do it, and it took 14 years for them to do it. And the main artist passed away before it was finished. His son finished it for him that very year. And so they wanted to make, and here's a picture of George Washington's head from the side. They wanted to make, do you see how George Washington has his coat on? You can see the collar. They wanted to make all of them down to their waist. But in 1941, the United States was going to war. And not with itself, with other countries. And they didn't want to spend any more money on this, so they quit giving money to the people making it. And so this is where it stopped. And we have this one. It's kind of a high view of it. And then we have this one. And this is just a little hallway they built, a little walkway they built to honor it as you go up there. I don't think you can climb to the top of it. You can just walk and see down from the bottom. So you have to see it from Google Maps to see the very top of it. All right, we're going to talk about their faces one more time, and we're going to label them in our book. So the first one is George Washington. So I want you to get a pencil out or a marker, and I want you to write George Washington. And I'm going to write it down for you. You can look. It's capital G because it's his name. E-O-R-G-E. All right, Mama, you can help them spell it. Washington. I guess I need to write that on a board for y'all where you can see it. George Washington. Mama's just helped them spell that. All right, when you get that one written, the next one is, put it on the bottom so the names don't run into each other. I think I'm going to write with the pencil so I can have a little bit more room. Thomas Jefferson. Jefferson. Alright, so I've labeled mine Thomas Jefferson. Mama's, like I said, you can just help them spell it. The next one is Theodore. We'll put his name on top. Theodore Roosevelt. Just like Theodore the Chipmunk, but this is Theodore Roosevelt. Alright, so I've got his name on the top. And then the last one is Abraham. Put his maybe over to the side. I'm going to need to sharpen my pencil. Abraham Lincoln. Alright, so I've got Abraham Lincoln. So we've looked at two of the famous landmarks in the United States. One is man-made. That's Mount Rushmore. And the other was made by the flood, and that was the Grand Canyon. So we do not have the Grand Canyon in our book, but we do have Mount Rushmore. So I guess the other thing we need to do is we need to write Mount Rushmore. Let's put it right here. We put Mount, ow and out, Mount Rushmore. All right. Mount Rushmore. All right. So that's two of the famous places in the United States, and we will look at tomorrow. I think we're going to do the Statue of Liberty, and we will probably do Crater Lake. And that's two more. That's one man-made and one that is nature-made or God-made. All right, so that is all we have for geography today, and I will see you later. First, I got to go back to my screen, then I can turn you off.